Round 3, fight! Tiger uppercut! Tiger uppercut! Tiger uppercut! You lose!
What's happening, YouTube? My name is Immortal Coil, and today we're talking Tiger King. So I think down the road in a couple years, we're going to look back at this whole 2020, the year of with bemused spectacles. The hot buzzwords were self-quarantine, and then if you're like my state, we had a mandated quarantine that lasted between 2 and 3 weeks. And since we're all at this point spoiled brats when it comes to technology and personal electronics, most of us spend our time on the internet, where a strange little show called Tiger King suddenly became the big to-do. Tiger King concerns itself with a handful of individuals who ostensibly run big cat sanctuaries. We have Joe Exotic, which for some reason I wanted to say Joe Quixotic, but he's definitely not that, and a couple of Joe's husbands. We have Carol Baskin and husbands both living and dead, presumably. We have Bhagavan Don Antle, his cock, and the unfortunate women who ran into them. We have Jeff Lowe, his cock, and all the women that ran into him. We have Alan Glover and his meth pipe. And then we have James Garretson, his assistant, Bib Fortuna, and of course Salacious Crumb. Now this is not going to be a straight up review video, because I have a feeling that that sort of thing is coming. Suffice it to say, they're all assholes using conservationism as a means to increase their personal fortunes. No, the thing that got my wheels spinning on this was some of the dangerous parallels which I perceive within the Fandom Menace. Let me explain. The key players in Tiger King all established themselves early on with social media. They were among the first people to use the platforms to monetize their businesses. Joe Exotic and Carol, in particular, had very successful Facebook pages. They also had a web TV series, whatever the fuck that is, and proceeded to make a lot of money. This sort of thing is actually very prevalent within the Fandom Menace. Initially, we were brought together by 3 big channels, which comprised the High Council. We had EVS, we had Geeks and Gamers, and we had World Class Bullshitters. And for a while, it was really glorious. A lot of people networked and relished in the thing that we all found but couldn't articulate until those 3 gentlemen picked up their microphones and collaborated. And then there were inevitable spin-off channels. Those who came together realized that they too had a voice and perspectives and takes on things. But then something funny started to happen. Now I want to give this caveat. This is not a finger-pointing video. I'm not going to name any names, and the 3 people that I mentioned were just for historical citation purposes. We're going to speak in broad strokes and say that for all of the hundreds of Fandom Menace channels, we know who's doing this, and we know who is not doing this. So, that out of the way, I'll continue. The danger that I perceived in this TV show, the cautionary tale, if you will, is that the people had a love for big cats. They found them to be beautiful, dangerous, intelligent, a peak form of evolutionary expression. The cat is one of the best predators that planet Earth has ever produced. And it's equally sad that human beings have hunted them and encroached upon their habitat to the point where they're teetering on the brink of extinction. So you see something like that, and you decide, I want to do something. There's too many assholes out there not taking care of these animals. I want to be an asshole who does. So you go, you beg, borrow, and steal, and you build your sanctuary. Except sanctuaries cost money to run. These cats are predators, they're on high protein diets, they eat meat. So what do? You turn it into a zoo. Some zoos are ran better than others. Carol's looked to be an actual zoo. Doc used the women in his sphere to bring a sexy edge to it. He dressed them up as little kitty cats and tigers and things. And because you had a dick and wanted to fuck, you would pay the money to go and see his animals. And there's that pseudo-Buddhism kind of thing, but although Siddhartha Gautama had a pan for coin, I don't think you would have any need to lock up nature's wonders. And then you have Joe Exotic, who, in the most important ways, he is the quintessential redneck, except he's gay and a polygamist. Fine. His bag was that if you pay the premium to come to a zoo, you could play with baby tigers. You could pet them and get your picture taken and get your kid's picture taken with them and blah, blah, blah. Now, that's all well and good until they started talking shit about each other. Carol called bullshit on Joe for breeding and, in some instances, selling cubs to private owners, which is a real big problem. And then Joe called bullshit on Carol for doing the same fucking thing a couple years before he did, before she got holier than thou, and inherited money after her husband went mysteriously missing. And they used every weapon at their disposal as far as social media is concerned. And all these fuckers are standing around looking at each other going like, oh, that's fucking nuts. But they can't help but contribute to that group consciousness. What is group consciousness, you asked? Well, it's when so many people latch onto an idea that they manifest it as physical reality. And unfortunately, the level of consciousness that you're at when you're manifesting reality dictates the type of reality that you manifest. Doc was a real Buddhist, he could tell you that. Now, Carol was just pointing out her perspective, but because Joe Exotic was such a fucking sideways flake, he started making blatant threats towards her and allegedly offered money to Alan Glover to go down to Florida and cap her ass. Now, I don't think anyone in the Fandom Menace has yet blatantly made a death threat towards anybody else. I think that as a group we have a little bit more sense than that. But similarly, whereas the Fandom Menace is largely concerned with the purity of entertainment and weeding out personal identity politics from our entertainment, there are some channels who, instead of making that their focus, have decided to focus on becoming a cult of personality. Now, having a little bit of an ego and a sense of self-awareness is important when you're creating a brand. You have to have somebody to focus on, you have to have a logo. You actually become your own mascot the further that you do this. But what ends up happening is some creators are losing sight of what they are creating and deciding to go after other cults of personality. So instead of talking about Batman or Superman, you end up talking about Jeremy Griggs or Ethan Van Sciver. Now, again, I don't want to pick on these people specifically, but if you review the past year and a half, you can see instances where many channels exhibited this type of behavior. So, to the tiger people, take care of your fucking tigers. Don't go running for governor. Don't threaten to kill people. Don't put your dick where it doesn't belong. Or your extremities around predators. Don't put that where it doesn't belong either. And for the Fandom Menace, focus more on your passion. Focus on entertainment. Focus on the dickheads who are watering down our entertainment because they either were made to feel beta by the entertainment choices that they had at their disposal while they were growing up, or they're taking marching orders from assholes who wish to disempower us, distract us, and turn us away from unlocking our unlimited human potential.
So, there you have it. My thoughts on Tiger King. My name's Immortal Coil. Like, share, subscribe. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you want to see covered on future editions of Savage Spirituality. Check out my brothers and sisters in the Fandom Menace. We're a group of channels dedicated to the purity of expression and the preservation of our modern mythology. Together, you and I can turn around the shit show that constitutes entertainment in 2020. And remember, there's only one Tiger King, and I'm pretty sure he's fucking Carol from The Walking Dead. Tres tigres tristes, trigaban un trigo, and triga.